This is the plaintiff, Barbara Rodriguez. She says she and the defendant have been best friends since kindergarten, and she can't believe it's come to this, an actual lawsuit. The defendant didn't have the money to attend her wedding in the Dominican Republic, so she loaned her what she needed to make the trip. This past summer, they had a terrible fight, and that's when she said she wasn't going to pay her the money she owed her, and to basically bug off. Bug off? Ha! She's suing for $936.40, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Courtney Booker. She says the plaintiff told her she wanted her to be the maid of honor at her wedding, and she told the plaintiff she couldn't afford to make the trip because money was tight. The plaintiff really wanted her there, so she offered to pay for the airfare and hotel, and she agreed to go. After they got into a big fight over the summer, the plaintiff told her she now wanted to be paid back for the wedding and was going to take her to court to get her money. How's that fair? She's accused of breaking a bride's heart.
All parties, please raise your right hands. You see it? Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Barbara Rodriguez, you are suing your former friend Courtney Booker for $936.40 that you say she owes you on a trip that you fronted the money for, and she was supposed to pay you back. Tell me what's going on.
Well, I knew Courtney since kindergarten. We go way back.
Since kindergarten?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I was getting married in 2011. I asked her.
How many friends do you each have since kindergarten?
Very few.
Very few.
Well,
do you have another friend that you've known since kindergarten?
No.
Third grade, they're still my
No,
friends.
third grade doesn't count. I said
kindergarten?
kindergarten.
Nope.
And that is way back.
Yeah.
Third grade's back, but kindergarten's way back. So go on.
I asked her to be my maid of honor. She said yes. I asked her when the date was, the year I asked her, it was all in 1 year. She said she wanted to do it, but she didn't have the money.
Because what money did she need? Your wedding wasn't here.
Right, I had a
It was in the
destination
Dominican
wedding.
Republic.
Right.
Okay.
So, you have to do air and hotel.
Right.
She wanted to do it. She said she didn't have the funds to do it. So I said, okay. She asked me if I can put it on my credit card. I said, okay. She said for her and her boyfriend at the current time.
Put both of them on your credit card?
Right.
Okay.
And she would make payments throughout.
Okay.
So I agreed. I said, okay. I did the booking.
But according to you, it was clear that she was going to pay you back.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any emails or texts or anything from that era?
Like I said, she's my best friend. I never think of to put something in writing or.
No, but how about an accidental text or email that maybe wasn't geared towards putting it in writing, but that would support what you're saying? Because you know what she's going to say, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this was what year?
2011.
Okay. And then what happens? You have your wedding.
I had my wedding. She went. We had a good time. She made a payment.
She made a payment of how much?
The first payment she made was $150.
And when was that?
In November.
Of what year?
2011.
All right. Is that amount accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
And then she said she'll pay me when she get her income tax.
Okay.
When her income tax came, she said she couldn't pay me. In 2012, her daughter's Sweet 16 was having, so she needed the money for that. Okay. So I said, okay, it's not a problem. She's my best friend. I lent her money before, and she has paid me back.
Okay.
So I don't see it like as a problem.
When did it become a problem where you decided you wanted to come to court about it?
When we had a big argument this year, and she just said, you're not getting nothing from me, and she's done.
What was the argument about? It's always something really stupid, isn't it?
To me, yeah.
It's either embarrassing, and that's why you're both smiling and looking down, or it's so stupid that it's embarrassing to say in public. Go ahead. What was the argument about?
I don't even know how it really, to me, made a big deal.
Was there alcohol involved?
No.
Okay. What happened?
We was away in D.C. and she just
on a trip together?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was just saying that she was tired of my nonsense. I think it wasn't even clear. I can't even get into details of how the whole argument.
Maybe I'll ask her. What was the problem with the two in D.C.?
Barbara and I, we've been friends forever, like she told you.
What was the problem
in D.C.? We went down to DC for a weekend. It was a party weekend that I was going to a meet and greet for the upcoming Essence Music Festival, people I was going with in July. She decided she wanted to go as well because she had a friend that she wanted to see that lived in that area. So her and her sister came along with me, and they pretty much ruined my entire weekend. And the itinerary kept changing. We were supposed to leave at 8 in the morning. We ended up leaving at 6 p.m. We were supposed to be me and Barbara. It ended up being Barbara, her sister, and their 2 children. Party weekend, adults drinking, party. They brought their children. Then we had to drive to Virginia, drop the children off at her sister's house. So I missed 2 of the 3 events from Friday, which I prepaid for. Barbara didn't want to pay, so
That's kind of inconsiderate.
I couldn't stay at the hotel. And
so you guys get into a big fight, and who leaves who in D.C.?
I ended up leaving her in D.C.
You just left her?
No. I left, went to the event, the one event I was able to make it to, and then I stayed with a friend instead of staying with her and her sister.
Right, but weren't you their ride back?
Listen, and that's where it comes in. That night, her sister texts me, and she says, "Are you still going to take us back? This is Saturday night now. We left on Friday. Saturday night." I said, "Well, I don't have a problem taking you guys back to New York." But Barbara knew Sunday I work 7 p.m. I work as a medic, have to get back to New York by 7 p.m. I said, "You guys can ride back with me, but I'm leaving at noon. So you get here by noon, we'll all leave." They said that was unreasonable because they had their children. Noon is too early. I know she's not a morning person. They wanted me to leave.
Noon? I mean, it's not like you're saying 7 a.m. Oh my God, I'm not a noon. No, I'm not a morning person.
And then they said, "It's not fair." I said, "I've caught airplanes at 6 a.m. with my kids in tow. So if you can't make it there I'm not driving back to Virginia to pick you up to bring you back to New York." Unfortunately, I had to find somewhere else to stay that night.
Okay.
So,
and according to you, she left you there.
I didn't leave.
But is it like she said?
No. First of all, she knew that we was coming with the kids. We were going to my sister's house, and she stayed at my sister's house. She made it to the event Friday night. By the way, I paid for gas and tolls. So I don't know what she paid for. She knew that this was going to happen.
Was it unreasonable to leave at noon when she had to work at 7?
That wasn't the problem. She cursed me out the whole Sunday. I told
Why?
her.
We didn't speak.
Just a second. Why?
Because she wanted to go somewhere Saturday, and she felt we was late. I told her to go ahead. She didn't want to. But anyway, Sunday was the day. Mind you, she's our driver. So how are we going to get to her? We're at my sister's house. We came in her car.
Yeah, how did you expect them to get to you?
When we got to D.C. on Friday night, her sister, they have cars. The guy she came to see, which wasn't her husband, picked her up. And
I don't know why I asked so many questions about it. I was trying to be a fly on the wall of the DC debacle, because that's what I want to know, the exact moment. I want to see if I can slow time down to the exact moment when how many years have you guys been friends?
I don't know, 33.
Woo! Friendship.
Well,
just went. I just want to see it. I got it. I see it. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Why won't you pay this lady back?
Because I don't owe her the money.
If you don't owe her the money, why did you pay the November payment? Remember when I turned around a second ago and looked at you and said, "Is that amount right?" I asked that because I wanted to see if you would admit that you made the November payment. If you made a November payment of $150 after the wedding, how can you look me in the eye and tell me that it was a gift from her and not a loan?
No, not a gift. I'm going to explain to you now. Barbara, I was supposed to pay her. There was 2 people in the room. It was supposed to be me and his matron of honor, which was her husband's best friend. She decided she wasn't going. That's how the boyfriend came into play.
However, whatever.
I was always supposed to be paid for. It was him that I was supposed to be paying her back for. My daughter's Sweet 16 was August.
The 900 and something that you're suing for involves what? Why would you make a payment then for him? Why didn't you let him make if you're going to look me in the eye and say, "That's not my debt, that's his."
No,
how are you going to do that when you paid her the money?
Ma'am, that's not what I'm saying. I was due to pay half of the total. Not me, but I paid it to her on behalf of his half. I was responsible for half because she was paying for my trip.
Was she responsible for half?
No. Why would I be?
She was paying for me. She always was. And it was me in a room along with someone else. In order for her not to lose the money, have to pay more because shouldn't even have covered half. But I thought that was reasonable, being how she would have to pay for that room regardless if it was 1 person in it or 2. I brought someone with me and I paid her $850 in total, which was more than half. I figured that was reasonable because of interest. And the only reason I made a payment to the credit card in November was because Barbara was out of work. She was sick and she couldn't make her payment to the credit card company. So she asked me to pay it to them. All the rest of the money was paid to her. I had no reason to get it in writing and sign anything. Just like she said, we've been friends for so long.
Did you pay back your boyfriend's airfare And did you pay her for half of his hotel? That's what you said in your answer to the complaint. But all you paid was $150.
No, I paid her. I paid
me.
$150 to the credit card company. I paid $150 to Liberty Travel prior to the trip, and I paid $550 in cash to Barbara.
Is that accurate?
She wants to
wait. Is that are those amounts accurate?
I have the 3 payments that she paid to my credit card, which
were
total of $600.
$600.
That's not what she's saying. And look at the total. I have the total of the trip.
Stop. Just give me the receipts. What I want from you, Ms. Booker, is give me the receipts of what you paid.
I don't have receipts for what I paid, but I have the total amount.
How could you not? I mean, that's the whole point. You're being sued about it.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So why do people, destroy relationships with best friends over just stupid little nothings, little arguments?
It was probably jealousy or envy. That's what I think.
But then that means there's this deep underlying dislike for the person to begin with. A lot of times you like somebody, but then all of a sudden you get mad because they didn't show up at the movies, and then you never talk to them again.
Well, I think maybe that if they care about each other a lot, some little things might tick them off and, get them mad over stupid stuff.
But if it gets them mad and ticks them off, then you get over it, right? I mean, that's what I don't understand.
I mean,
You ever had a really good friend and you just got destroyed over something that's really kind of dumb?
it happened this week.
What happened? I'm curious.
Basically, she just put her. Oh, this is okay. Basically, we just had an argument over something stupid, and
Like what?
her boyfriend, and it's never.
You didn't even have a dog in the fight.
No.
Oh, why'd you do that? Going inside the courtroom.
Okay, she has 3 separate checks from you: $150, $250, and $200.
Right.
You don't even mention that.
Right. She's talking about, I'm talking about the cash that she's not mentioning.
Okay.
The total it paid to
Listen. You guys are a mess, okay? She's showing money that you didn't even talk about. If you're saying that you paid $550 directly to
because I don't remember exactly.
Oh, you don't remember what you paid.
I paid the credit card.
Okay, so the answer is you don't remember, and you have 3 checks. Do you have any evidence you want me to look at?
No, because the cash that I paid her, she's not admitting that was paid. This is the amount of the trip.
Did she pay you any cash? Show me what you do have. Did she pay you any cash?
She didn't pay me any cash.
Did she pay anybody any cash? Well, I don't like how you said that.
That's not
She didn't pay, not to my knowledge that she paid anything else.
Did she pay any Liberty Travelers? So Liberty Travel or anybody else any money?
That's the total amount. And I was only supposed to pay half because half was for me, half was for him. She was always paying for my trip.
Can you stop talking? Okay. This Liberty Travel receipt that she is showing me for $1,536.40.
Yes, that's what I have.
Okay. And that's what you paid on your credit card?
Yes.
Okay. And then her position is I'm only supposed to pay half because she was paying for me as a maid of honor. Is that true?
No,
or
it's
untrue?
not true.
Okay. And according to you, she was always supposed to pay, and it wasn't until recently when she said, you're never going to see any of that money.
Exactly.
Did you say you're never going to see any of that money to her in this trip?
Barbara blocked me into a parking spot and came out yelling and cursing at me and said to me, oh, the only reason I was offering to pay for you is because you were my friend. I thought you were a real friend. Now that you're not my friend, I don't feel I should have to pay that, and I'm going to sue you. That's exactly what happened. It's always been selfish issues with her, and that was just the last straw. It wasn't the one trip that made a little problem type of thing. We'd be here all day if I went to how many different situations.
Okay, but you confused me with Dr. Phil. I don't want to be here all day hearing about all your problems.
That's what I mean. We can't do that.
But here's the thing I do need to know. I have to get I have a lawsuit in front of me. I have to figure out which of you two is telling the truth. There's no winner or loser in this case because as far as I am concerned, you both have lost something far more valuable than $900 and something. I mean, this is really, I can't, I don't know about you guys. I don't have a lot of friends I've known since kindergarten. I barely have a lot of friends I know since college. Okay. And as life goes on, because you're still young, as life goes on and it gets tougher and tougher, they become more and more important to your existence. And it's really kind of sad that you guys have ended up here. Put your hand down. You don't hear me talking?
Yeah.
Am I just saying things in my head?
No.
Because you're clearly not listening if you're thinking about what you want to say, and I want you to listen to me. It is so intensely sad that you have both ended up in front of me for me to call this one, as opposed to you two, at a minimum, working it out and then never talking to each other again. There was a world where you could have done that, where you could have said, out of deference to the 30 years that we've been friends and, we're just for the sake of peace, let's figure this out. And if we don't want to be friends anymore because I think you're self-centered and you think I'm too uptight, then fine. Then you've grown your separate ways. But to let it get to the point where not only is there litigation, but litigation in front of me on the People's Court, that's a new kind of breakdown in a very long-term friendship. Now, what were you trying to interrupt me to say?
Sorry. I was saying I tried to call her after the incident, and she just went off and started cursing and saying all types of rude things to me. But I even tried to talk to her, like, it shouldn't be that serious. And she was in her rage. I guess, to me, I think she held something in for all these years, like she's just now admitting, but she never spoke.
Well, maybe you're annoying. Maybe the idea of you being late all the time and imposing on other people's time is not okay. But maybe you should be, exactly. Maybe you should express yourself instead of blowing up 30 years later. But you know what? Again, I'm descending into a therapist that I do not want to be.
I do. She doesn't care about
based on what I have listened to, based on the fact that there was a payment in November, based on the fact that there was a payment in November, in January, in April, all of which was after you claim to have paid this half of your boyfriend's.
In June.
I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $936.40.
Numbers are wrong.
Well, the plaintiff wins this case between two old friends. It's shocking to see two old friends in here like that.
Oh, it's sad, but the problem wasn't the money. The money never came into play until after we stopped being friends. I only was supposed to pay half. She was supposed to pay for my trip. She knows that, and she's mentioned that to several people. I don't want to bring them here all the way from another state.
Hey, if she was so annoying and everything, how'd you stay friends for so long?
We didn't see each other a lot. I was married, had small children. Her daughter's 4. Since she had her daughter, we started to be close again. We would go for years. I see her to bail her out of jail or pick her up from spending the night out drunk, but we would never hang out. We would hang out. We see each other maybe 2 or 3 times a year. She just keeps saying this kindergarten thing. I'm her best friend. She was never my best friend.
All right. Documents are waiting for you down this way. All right, you got your money, but what do you make of all what she's saying?
She's just lying and she's upset. Something wrong with her. We have been friends since kindergarten. She knows she was supposed to pay me the money, and that's it. Like, she's making up all these stories to convince other people, but it's not true. She knew I was a good friend. That's why she's been around this long. And
are you saying something's changed? She's changed?
She's changed. She's changed big time. I've been there for her. We have,
What's changed to her? What's happened to you?
I don't know. I think for all these years, how she claimed she holds feelings in, and now she's just bursting out and trying to perceive me to be some type of person that I'm not. She knows I'm a good friend. That's why we've been around for all these years that we have.
All right, over to Harvey.
Here's the key here. When money changes hands, it doesn't matter which way, both sides should keep a ledger on who pays back what to whom, period. That'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.